Happy Friday, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Got a big storm system heading our way this weekend, and a couple wrinkles in the forecast could make things a little bit interesting late Sunday. First things first, where's the system now? You could see it here sitting over Texas. It's just beginning to gain some strength. And when you look at some of the model data, we look at these things in the middle of the atmosphere called vorticity maximums, and you can see one coming out of Baja California across Old Mexico. This is going to dive into areas of Texas, and this storm is going to reform down near New Orleans later tonight and tomorrow, and then track up the East Coast right over the Carolinas. So this is going to be a Saturday night into Sunday morning kind of storm. And the interesting thing, in the last couple of model runs that we run here at the station, we've been getting to see a little bit of a colder and a little bit farther south track. It doesn't mean a lot of snow for our area, but it does have some problematic issues on the tail end. And here's what I'm talking about. This is our RPM model, or what we call Futurecast on the air. And you'll see the system developing down here over Texas. I'll put this into motion, and you'll see the system developing later today into tonight. It really starts to gain strength once it gets to the Gulf of Mexico, starts feeding off some of this warm water down here over New Orleans. Excuse me. And you can see the low beginning to crank up right over Louisiana later tonight into tomorrow morning. Then as we go through the day on Saturday, moisture starts to spread north, and by the time we get to Saturday night, this is after sunset, we begin to see some heavy rain move into the Carolinas. But as we go through the day on Saturday into Sunday, it really gets heavy going into Sunday morning. But cold air begins to wrap in on the backside, and we begin to see a changeover to heavy wet snow sometime around lunchtime in the mountains, especially above 3,500 feet. And then as the low moves away, cold air wraps in on the backside, and it looks like there could be a very brief shot of wet snow even in the Piedmont, though this is always a tough thing to time out because the moisture is pulling away while the cold air is coming in. So to time those two out is very difficult to do sometimes. So this may not actually happen, but there's a chance. And as we look at the rainfall forecast, you see the amount of rain that is forecasted to fall across South Carolina into eastern North Carolina. We're talking 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of rain. As far as the snow is concerned, the models are hinting at anywhere, I would say, between maybe a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of wet snow. A couple of models have started to pick up on that. And when you look at the risk or probability of 4 inches of snow, you're mainly talking about Watauga and Ashe County North. You can see the bullseye over Virginia. So we're not looking at significant snow in the Piedmont. But when you look at the chances for at least 1 inch of snow, notice how the chances actually go further south just to about the Charlotte area. Right now, if I had to put a percentage on Charlotte seeing an inch of snow, it's anywhere between 5 and 8%. But once you get to Interstate 40 north, you're talking about 30 to 50% chance of maybe seeing 1 inch of snow on the backside. And when you look at our model, it actually tries to put out a couple inches of snow up in northern North Carolina near the Virginia border in very heavy amounts, maybe a foot plus up in Ashe County towards Mount Rogers up in Grayson County, Virginia. And then across the Charlotte area, looks like a trace of snow, maybe a half an inch. So the models are trying to pull in some moisture on the backside. The problem you run into, and I'll show it to you on our map here, I'll put the data on. This is the snowfall forecast from the NAM model. You can see all the snow to our north, and there's a little trace amount trying to come down on the backside. But as I mentioned, the problem with this is that you often run into issues with the timing of the precipitation and the cold air. So when we look at the temperatures, these are the temperatures on Sunday. The coldest of the air is actually up here in Kentucky and Virginia. So to try to time that out with the actual moisture is going to be difficult. So let's take a look at how this unfolds. This blue line is the rain-snow line that you see, and then obviously this is just radar, future radar. So we're going out into Sunday. You can see the heavy rain Sunday morning. Notice the rain-snow line is up in Virginia. But as we go through the day on Sunday into the evening hours, notice that the rain-snow line starts to scoot closer to Charlotte. So then by the time we get to Sunday evening, there could be a very brief shot of snow on the backside. So something we'll keep an eye on. Not a big deal right now. Of course, we'll have updates continuously starting today at 4, 5, and 6 on News Channel 36. See you then.